I'd like to take a moment to recognize a special guest that's joining us today as part of the America 250 initiative and its June theme, Ohio Outdoors, Exploring Ohio's Natural Resources. We are pleased to welcome Kori Sedmak, Public Outreach Coordinator for the Franklin Soil and Water Conservation District, to share with us the important work that's being done in Franklin County to protect natural resources and the opportunities for residents to explore and connect with the outdoor spaces. Good morning, Kori.
Good morning, Commissioner O'Grady and the rest of the commissioners and county administration. If you can believe it, 250 years ago, Ohio was a frontier state, and Central Ohio's natural resources were primarily stewarded by Native Americans. While there were few permanent Native American tribal settlements in Franklin County, the Miami, Lenape, and Shawnee tribes held many hunting camps in the area and maintained Franklin County's 5 main rivers to be as productive as possible for hunting, gathering, and agriculture. Big Darby Creek, our most western waterway, was actually named Olentangy, River of Red Face Paint, due to its high clay concentrations. The area around Big Darby Creek, the Darby Plains, was maintained with controlled burns, a practice that Metro Parks and Franklin Soil and Water continue today on various properties in the area that are conserved. As the climate warmed following the last ice age, this land would have naturally become forested, but Native Americans worked without any machinery to keep over 250,000 acres as tall grass prairie to support the bison and elk they relied on. They named the Scioto River, the next river to the east, the only river that still has its original name, Sionto, meaning big river. What's known today as the Olentangy River was named Kihung Shikansapung, Sharp Tools Stream, as the shale bottom was useful for sharpening stone tools. Big Walnut Creek, Alum Creek, and Blacklit Creek, our 3 eastern watersheds, were together called Gehanna, meaning 3 into 1, as they all joined together at what's presently 3 Creeks Metro Park. When Ohio's Native Americans were forcefully removed beginning in the 1830s, all but the Scioto River's names were changed and lost. More settlers began to move slowly into Ohio. In the 1840s, our waterways, especially Alum Creek, served as trails on the Underground Railroad. There were riparian forests serving as cover for freedom seekers, some of whom settled in Columbus and north in communities along the rivers. As people moved in, the land was no longer being managed for hunting to support small groups of people, but rather to support economic opportunity in a rapidly growing U.S. population that was moving west. At the peak of the Industrial Revolution in the early 1900s, the forest around the Scioto and Olentangy rivers had been effectively destroyed to make the water more accessible for transport, industrial, and sanitation needs. This destruction mirrored other environmental crises at the time, like the Dust Bowl, and that it was a product not of intentional destruction of ecological landscapes, but of developing land too quickly, paired with a lack of general knowledge about land stewardship. Franklin County began to experience its own environmental crisis in the 1940s as the technology to build outpaced our ability to conserve land, leading to catastrophic levels of soil erosion. Realizing that federal regulation and fines couldn't curb the country's environmental issues caused mostly by poor farmers and construction companies who were still recovering from the Great Depression, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, our president at the time, created the Civilian Conservation Corps and Soil and Water Conservation Districts. These locally led and locally staffed organizations operated under the principle that most people want to do what's best for the environment. This is a fact that still holds true today. They just need the resources and knowledge to be able to do so. Fast forward to 1972, and this collective love for the environment was reflected in the Clean Water and Clean Air Acts, which were developed in response to citizen concerns about rampant, unchecked spewing of industrial waste into the water we drink and the air we breathe. These acts remain one of the most effective federal environmental policies in the history of our nation. Locally, these acts resulted in a shift in the sources of water pollution. Suddenly, we couldn't point our fingers at big business as a primary source of dirty water. The remaining chemicals and trash littering our waterways was and currently is being produced by smaller, more spread out everyday sources like small construction sites, farms, roads, and even our own backyards. Our current role at Franklin Soil and Water is focused on addressing this pollution, and our approach is still rooted in the principles we were founded on in 1946. Our work is focused on creating relationships with people and businesses where they're at and giving them resources to prevent water pollution and soil erosion. We work closely with other government agencies and nonprofits, like our local watershed groups. Every watershed, except for Big Walnut, has their own nonprofit watershed group. The newest group, Scioto Watershed Action Group, or SWAG, was incorporated with assistance from Franklin Soil and Water, using a model we hope to replicate in the Big Walnut watershed in the future. You can meet SWAG and participate in their stream quality monitoring efforts Saturday, July 25th, 10 to 11 a.m. at the Holton Community Center on Eureka Avenue. These watershed groups assure that people who live in and care about these waterways have a united voice and an organized way to go about improving water resources for present and future generations. Franklin Soil and Water's annual meeting, September 17th, at the brand new Bank Run Metro Park, will help celebrate the Big Walnut watershed and bring interested parties together to begin discussions for a Big Walnut watershed group. We hope you'll stop by. If you're looking for other opportunities to experience the county's water resources, you can attend ODNR's Wildlife and Heritage Hike, June 13th. That's up at Alum Creek's New Galena boat ramp, and a naturalist will lead a walk talking about the wildlife connected to the stories of the Underground Railroad. You can also attend a mussel field trip, June 20th at 9 a.m. at Alum Creek Park North with Friends of Alum Creek and Tributaries, another watershed group. These are not the bicep and quad kind of mussels, but the relatives of clams. And I might have to have a word with y'all at some point for Columbus's next sports team to be named the Columbus Mussels, because Big Darby Creek has more species of mussels than the entire continent of Europe. And it's a point of pride for our county that we really don't talk about enough. If you're not
I like the women's soccer team to be called the Columbus
yeah,
Mussels.
Columbus
That'd be good.
Mussels, right? Draw up some designs there for that mascot. If you're not a water person, you can join the nonprofit Green Columbus for a litter cleanup at their property every Monday evening in June. While the litter isn't currently in the water, once we get a nice big thunderstorm, it will end up there if you don't pick it up. As the county continues to develop, protecting our water resources must remain a top priority. County citizens continue to express how important clean water is to them in recent conversations regarding data centers and the renewal of the Darby Accord. We will be actively listening and helping where residents need us most, like we have for the past 80 years, and we know that you'll do the same. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I have comments?
Please.
Yeah, thank you, President O'Grady and Kori.
Yeah.
You say that. Thank you so much for your testimony. One, can I have a copy of your speech?
Yes,
That
you
was
may.
outstanding.
Thank you.
Content there. But I do want to say, Franklin County Water and Soil are really unsung heroes of quality of life in Central Ohio. In my nearly 30 years of being in elected office or somehow in public service, there are times you learn and see how the system it works and how we get to live the quality of life that we do, from a county that regulates apiaries, to a consent decree that changed the way we dispose of our sanitary sewer overflow and waste, which, as you know, there was a time when the city was built where that sanitary sewer overflow flew into the Scioto. And there's so many parts of this that make Franklin County Water and Soil an unsung hero, and I just wanted to thank you for that really good overview of history. There are 10 things in there I had never heard before, but one of them stood out to me, and that was the Scioto. When you talked about them being named what was it, the
Scioto.
Scioto.
And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right.
Okay, because that's what I was trying to get at. Are we pronouncing the Scioto wrong because the way you said that the Native American name was actually pronounced and it's named after? It sounded like we might be pronouncing that wrong. And
There
so-
definitely used to be an N in it that is
Okay,
no longer
interesting.
in there, but I'm not sure if the pronunciation changed as well. And it's hard to
Interesting.
find people to ask. I did look around, and yeah, it's just not a lot of folks who have that knowledge in the area anymore.
Nobody outside of Central Ohio knows how to pronounce that anyway, so.
Or Olentini.
Well, that's what I said. We should at least know how to pronounce
Yeah,
it. That
we-
was like,
we-
have I pronounced it
when
wrong
we
my whole
travel-
life?
When we travel to NACO, some people call it the Scioto.
The Scioto.
Or, they call it all kinds of things, so. the fact
I'm
that
not
nobody-
even sure I knew Gehenna was a Native American name either.
Yeah.
I'm not
Oh,
sure I
no,
understood
that's
that.
not- That one,
Yeah.
to me, has always been an obvious one, but
Yeah. I don't-
maybe not so much to you. but
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
okay.
no.
Did we grow up in the
definitely.
same place?
We did, yeah, but I'm really, I'm grateful for your history rendition there. I'd love to get a copy of your notes. You don't have to give me your actual copy if you don't want to, but you can send it to my office or whatever.
Great.
That'd be great. They were outstanding. Thank you.
Please.
Totally concur, Commissioner Boyce. We'd love to get the copy of the remarks. And from the Native American history, I just wanted to plug two things for the group. There is a relatively new state park called the Great Council State Park in Xenia that is dedicated to the Native American history in Ohio, and it's outstanding. It's a small museum, and they do amazing work. And there is an excellent podcast that the public radio station in Yellow Springs did called The Ohio Country out of WYSO that's on podcast, and it's just a really terrific way, working with the Shawnee who went to Oklahoma forced to go to Oklahoma from this area, that were part of not only the creation of the state park, but also very heavily involved in the podcast. Fascinating background that I certainly didn't know a lot about. So thank you, Commissioner Boyce, for bringing that up as well.
That's great.
Corey, thank you. You know, it's having, you know, I'm sure there's plenty of other people in the room that were around for the bicentennial. When in 1976, I was but a kid, so if you're older than me, sorry.
I thought you were on the County Board of Commissioners in 1976.
There are those who think so. But it was a whole different celebration, and at least in my memory, it was a whole different celebration in 1976. And this has been, as we get ready for this one, this has been a lot different, it's been pretty interesting. And so, and being on the board of directors of the County Commissioners Association of Ohio, each county is doing, while we are all doing similar things, we're all doing different things. And so this has been some interesting stuff, and I appreciate you coming this morning and giving us the history lesson that you did. As Commissioner Boyce likes to think that because I've been around so long, that I have, you know, this great history of Franklin County, but a lot of the stuff you told us about this morning, I didn't know, so thank you.